Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ready Status. Hanging out with Alisa today. She's actually hammering away at the ChatGPT machine right now, like giving herself some data points. So what's up? How's it going? How's it going over there?
Wow.
How's it going over there?
Called me out.
Sorry.
I'm not using the chat anymore.
Are you not?
Straight from the...
Straight from the brain? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you get what you get today then.
My brain is not firing very well today either, so here we go.
Do you need more coffee?
Nope.
You've got plenty of coffee.
Also, Dunkin' Donuts is
Free plug.
Superior.
Beer.
Superior.
Yeah.
I had it for the first time in a while, and I immediately said this should be illegal in all 50 states. It's just so good.
We definitely have different variations on coffee. I'm not fond of the Dunkin', but hey, I'm also not trying to get a bunch of hate in an email box right now from whose coffee is better than what. But for me, the little scooters stands are prime. So anyway, if you're going to get a cold brew and you don't need anything in it, just swing by Scoot and grab yourself a cold brew. So anyway, we're not sponsored by any of these people. We're just literally just discussing it today. All right. So one of the things I want to roll through, with you guys today, is one of my favorite topics to discuss. I think it's really relevant right now. We're seeing it a lot in the marketplace right now. We're seeing a lot of businesses that we work with right now. And there's a huge difference in every company that we work with. And they are either operating from exceptionally high standards or very high tolerance. Okay. And there's no middle here. Right. So, and we're going to talk about what both mean and how do you delineate between which one you're currently operating in and what do you do with it if it's one or the other. But I want to kind of give you guys a couple of examples. So, maybe this will sit with you. If it sits with you, that's fine. Anyway, I'm not telling you to go do something about it right now. I'm just making you aware. Okay. So inside a lot of companies we work with and conversations that we have, the topic of the discussion that is usually going on is like, I've got this guy in my company. I don't really care for this guy. He's been here for a long time. But I know if I leave or whatever, he's got my back. But I can't actually ever get 40 hours out of him, or I can't get the time out of him, but I trust him and blah, 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 blah. Okay. There's a long story about this particular guy. And most of the time what's happening is the rest of the team is watching how you're interacting, or the leaders are interacting with this guy. And what it's saying inadvertently to the rest of the team is, this is the standard. Okay. Yes. So if he's going to tolerate how this guy shows up, how he performs, the way he speaks to him, the things he does, so on and so on, he's going to tolerate it from the rest of us too. Okay. So that's what it's saying without saying it. So in that instance, the standard of the company is tolerance. Okay?
Every tolerance sends a message to everyone.
Every single thing you tolerate is sending a message.
Yes.
So that can be, and listen, we're gonna get to some extremes today, but I just want you to understand how important this is. That could be trash on the floor. That could be like you're getting a coffee in the morning. You're a top level leader. You're the owner. You might be somebody lower, whatever. You're getting a coffee in the morning. You put the coffee in the cup. You put a little creamer in the cup. You stir the cup, you set your spoon down, the spoon's sitting there right there. It leaves coffee from wherever you were. You just pick the thing up, walk, and go to your office and start working. And there's a spoon sitting on the counter, and there's coffee on the counter, and there's, like we've walked into offices and there's crap everywhere. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason about why all this stuff is piled in the corner of the office. It just looks like a war zone, quite frankly. And what that's saying to everybody on the team is, that's the standard.
Yep.
So we're going to get into some of that later. On the flip side of that, we've walked into organizations, people's houses. And again, a lot of things we talk about feel like they're just applicable to business, but they are not. They are applicable to all the areas of your life.
Yep.
I've gotten in people's cars. I've got, like all these different things, right? and they're meticulous, right? Like you almost feel bad getting into someone's car and like accidentally you put your feet into the car and it pulls like one small blade of old grass into the car and the carpets are like immaculate. Everything's wiped down. There's like there's not cup spill in the center. I mean, it's like, damn, bro, you even have kids? And it's like this dude's got like 5 kids, and it's like, what is going on here, right? And it's like that's the standard,
right?
The standard is excellence. Go ahead.
I went to do a workout at my trainer's house, and she does workouts in her garage, and it had rained earlier that day, and we were running as part of the workout training, and so we ran, and I stepped in a mud puddle and then walked into her garage for the rower, and I got mud on the ground, and I was like, oh heck no, like pause, I will get that Swiffer because she has one in there, and I'm cleaning this up, because when I walked in there, it was literally clean, like spotless. The rubber floor was just like clean, and I made those mud puddles there, or not puddles, but my shoe left mud, and I was like, no, we're cleaning this right now. Like, pause this workout, we're cleaning it right now. It's like those little things, because that's the standard I have for myself, and so I was like, we will not be leaving this place like this.
Yeah.
So it personal, business, all of it.
It's in all the things.
I will say for standards too, it's like what we value. So that you could value dirty places and chaos, and that's, if you value that, that's what you're going to tolerate, and that's what you're going to get. We value clean, neat, and orderly spaces, and so we value that in other people, and that's our standard, and so we almost expect people to abide by that. Maybe not expect, but like we want to be in that environment. Yeah. So we will make ourselves available in those environments.
I would say I don't necessarily view it as an expectation, but it's how I operate. It's the standard in which I don't negotiate with. Right. So it's like, if you're going to be this, okay, so I'm just going to lay it out for you guys really, really quick. Okay. If you're going to be, this is for me, you're going to be in my space. Okay. And you're going to work around me, and we're going to have a relationship of some, whatever. I don't know any other way to say it. You got to have your shit together. Like, you can't be a disheveled mess and like bring chaos into my life and whatever, because it will literally start to mess with how I operate, right? So in order for that to be clear, I have to hold myself at a high standard. That's like, if you walk into my office, you know where all my things are. My things are all like, I leave at the end of the day, my chair's pushed in, my stuff is all put back to the way it was. And here's a big reason why I do it, right? I want the future me to be like the past me, like totally hook me up, right? Thank you, and so it's like, I want to walk into I'm like, oh God, I want to walk in the morning ready to go unload and not be like, damn man, there's shit everywhere. Right. I want to walk in and be like, oh, like the coasters are put back in the right spot. The cups are put back. The chairs put back. The computer was turned off. The keyboard's put. It just gives me joy, right? And so I like to set the standard up in a way that it's like, if someone has to come into my office, whether they like disheveled messiness or they like cleanliness, they can just tell the standard is like, this guy's stuff's in order, right? So that's, and I will literally say to people, you know, they pull the chair out, they don't put the chair. I'm like, hey, can you push your chair back in? And that's not me an expectation. It's just like, hey, that it was that way when you. Right. So it's kind of like, listen, I'll set it up, you know, and this is how I view the standard, right? I'll set it up and make it look really great and whatever. All I ask is you put it back the way you found it, right? It's almost the same thing we say. The kids we're not perfect at this, and the kids are not always perfect at this, but we drive this into the kids. Like, do you bring your trash into the car? The trash goes out with you when you leave the car. Yep. Right? It's just kind of these cadences and things that we create. It's
harder with the kids, but if you lead by example over and over, they'll eventually pick up on it.
Yeah. So, but listen, it's in all things. Like, I'll give you another example real quick, and then I want to get into like the depths of this with you. But last week, or was it? It was 2 weeks ago. Our middle daughter Eden was like, "Hey, I want to get up at 6 a.m. and work out with you guys, because that's what we do, right?" Yep. And we were like, I was like, I don't know, that's early. Like, you know, you like to sleep in, you know, whatever. And I almost tried to talk her out of it. And she's like, no, you're going to be up working out. I want to be up working out. And I was like, okay. So I woke her up and she came down and she was good. She was a champ and she did the workout and whatever. But if we were just like, I mean, like this is a little bit extreme, but it is what it is. I mean, if we were like, every morning we're like going to get donuts. I mean, going to, eating cereal and skipping the gym and, very nonchalant about that. Guess what the kids are going to do? Same exact thing. Right. How do I know that? Been in that space before. Right. Yeah. So that's what they do. They watch us and then they repeat and then they're little mirrors of what we actually do. So are the people on our team.
Yep, exactly.
So are the people on the team. Right. So why we're talking about this today is we did a podcast before that we were talking about weak, inefficient, and exposed. Okay. And a lot of what we look at, the second layer to this is what are you currently tolerating? Okay. What are you currently tolerating that if it were to change and you were to create a more, like a higher standard of this could actually alleviate or eliminate a lot of these issues. Yep. Right. So very few companies that we go into have standards in writing. Right?
No, none.
Yeah. And so what's one of the, we asked them pretty much out of the gate, you're going to need to put some standards in writing. What do those standards typically look like? Give you some examples.
Standards. Neat and orderly spaces. That's like one of my values. So like the standard is like you leave things the way you found them. Like everything's set up neat and you leave it the way you found it. Right. So if you come in and you see trash on the floor, we're all going to pick it up. Or if the trash can's full, we're all going to take it out because we want this place to be like clean, neat, and orderly. So that's like a big one.
Prepared, like people showing up to meetings prepared
right,
or unprepared?
On time, like show up to the meeting on time.
Yeah.
For example, at a past company that I worked for, whenever the standard was the first person that gets to the office turns the lights on. And there were like 4 light switches. And so if you open the office or were the closer of the office, those 4 shut off. And when you got there in the morning, those 4 shut on. And so that was our standard. Like those 4 lights need to be on when we pull up, right? Yeah. So like little things like that.
What would you do if the lights weren't on?
Okay, I was going to get into this and I was going to use this example, but when I pull up, and I did this so many times, when you pull up to the office and the lights are off, I message the people in the office from my car because my parking spot was right in front of the conference room door, and the conference room is one of the lights that needs to be on. And I know people are there. So I text them. I can see there's 4 people here. I text those 4 people in a group chat who opened the office this morning. They will say, Jenny, for example. Okay, now I'm getting out of my car. I'm going to go have a conversation with Jenny. Like, hey, are you clear on the process for opening the office? You unset the alarm. Obviously, you unlock the door, unset the alarm, light switch, light switch, light switch, light switch, go to your office, do whatever. And I have this conversation. Okay, Jenny, are you clear on that process? Okay, great. All right, well, the conference room light is not on. Can you go turn that on? And every time moving forward, can you make sure that light switch is on? Yes, deal.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys caught what she just said, but you would not go turn the light switch on.
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Why is that?
Because they need to know that that's the process and they have to follow through with the standard. It is the standard. It's the process.
Yep.
So I need you to go turn the light switch on. And then they're not going to forget it again because they don't want to be called out for it again. Because now I put everyone in a group chat and I know everybody knows who did it essentially. And I'm not trying to call people out like in a negative way. Yep. I'm always very playful with it, but like that's the standard. So let's just make sure we do it.
Yep.
And then the pattern that you'll notice is when new people start to come on board, they will tell the old people will tell the new people, if you get a key to this building and you're responsible, X, Y, and Z has to be done when you open this office. That is the standard, and that is what we do.
Yeah. So
and
go ahead.
Like as the leader at that company, it's what I needed to happen. Like I don't know how to explain it, but that's the standard I needed. When I pull up to the front door, I want that conference room light on because it's dark outside. I want the light on. That's what I need. So we developed the standard throughout the company that's what should be happening.
Yeah. It is what you need. It's more than that, right? Like you're starting to create a cadence of like pay attention to the little things, right? Pay attention to the little things. The standard is we pay attention to the little things,
Yep.
right? We follow through.
Yep.
These are standards like what we're talking about, right? Like, so it's less about, and the biggest takeaway here for you guys listening to this is like, it's so easy as a business owner or a top level leader to just be like, well, the lights aren't on. It feels really trivial, right? Or I'll just go flip the light on. And then what you're doing is you're tolerating the standard not being operated, right? Oh, I'll just pick up this piece of trash. I'll just do this thing, right? We know people that do the same thing you're talking about, right? If the standard is the standard and then the team doesn't follow through with the standard, they've been taught the standard, they've been told the standard, they've been shown the standard, they've been all the things, right? They will just literally be like, how did this happen? How did this thing happen? And then, I mean, we know some people that go to the extremes, they bring the whole team in, surround the team around the thing that just happened. And they're just like, I don't care who did this, but the fact that 30 people walked past it when it happened is not acceptable.
Right.
So here's what's going to happen for the rest of the month. This area is off limits, or for the rest of the month, this privilege is whatever. And it's less about being like parental or whatever the case. It's more about this. The reason why this thing matters is because if you can walk by a piece of trash by all these people, what do you think you're going to deliver to the customer?
Yep.
What do you think you're going to deliver to the community? What do you think you're doing at home?
Yep.
Right? Like
even in your work. Like,
I know.
If you're walking past a piece of trash and it's like no big deal, you have to think like there's trash on the floor. I'm going to pick it up or not. You should pick it up, but you're not doing it. So then when you are going to enter an important number on a spreadsheet and it's not the right number, you're just going to enter it anyway. Yeah. And it's okay. And then that is why the little things matter.
That's right.
And I can have many other examples. Women's restroom, walk-in, trash, paper towel trash on the floor beside the trash can. I'm immediately sending a group message to the entire women inside this company. And I'm saying like, hey guys, there's trash. How did a paper towel make it beside a trash can, right? It seems like it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Walking into the kitchen, there's breakfast delivered. There are literally muffin crumbs all over the floor to the trash can. I sent a text to the entire company and I said, guys, we do not have crumbs, food on the floor. Like, what is happening? We do not do this. And unbelievably, in a culture that follows the standard and may have just made an accident of this or not really thought that they did it, I promise you, when I sent that text, 7 people came to the conference room to clean up this muffin. I'm not sure if I did it, but I had a muffin today. I'm in here with a broom, if that makes sense. So you build the culture that way. Standards are literally the foundation to the culture that you're building.
100%.
And standards that are not enforced do not exist. I will literally shout this 100 times. If the standard is not in writing and it's not enforced, it does not exist. At that point, you're tolerating something else.
Or tolerance. Yeah. And I know some of you guys are like, you guys are extreme. Okay. So let me just clarify this real quick. Okay. If your mindset is this feels extreme, okay, it is a high possibility and probability that you are tolerating a ton of stuff all riddled through your life that's keeping you from actually having or getting what it is that you actually want. At places in your life where you're like, man, a standard is not something you force on someone else. It's something you sit down with people and you're like, look, here's what we'd like to see happen. Here's why we'd like to see happen. Here's how we're going to make it happen. And you get the buy-in from the people first. Okay. That's number one. Everybody's clear. Everybody knows why. Everybody understands the big deal, how it's applicable to the people that you come in contact with and your relationships and whatever the case may be. If at that point in time, they decide that standard is not for them, you cannot negotiate with the standard.
Right.
This is the hardest part of having standards. This is why most people walking around in this freaking planet are operating from a place of tolerance, whether they like to say it or not, because they don't want to have the hard conversations of we set the standard. We agreed to the standard. We know what the standard is. We were trained on the standard. We just want to negotiate with the standard. When you start negotiating with standard, you are tolerating it. The more things that you're willing to tolerate, the farther away you're getting from things you're actually trying to create, and the more frustrated and pissed off or lack of joy that you're going to feel throughout the rest of your life. So I know that sounds extreme. That might sound very, very harsh. And I also know the difference between exceptionally high performers and very low performers or mediocre performers, right?
Yep.
The only difference between being meh and great is your level of standards and your level of tolerance. That's all it is. And most of the time, I would say all of it starts with your personal standards.
Yes.
Right? If you're going to say, go to like your health and fitness and you're negotiating with that, you're negotiating with this, you're negotiating with that tolerance is going to be riddled all through your life. It's going to be, what else are you tolerating? Where, like you were saying earlier, like where else are you going to tolerate that nonsense? Right. So it's everywhere.
We've talked about like, I've mentioned a lot of examples of spaces and being clean. I understand that how things look and feel are important to me. And so I value those. And so those are usually a standard in the places that I go because I want to be around clean spaces. But that's one. Another example is minimum standards. Like this doesn't just include like the environment you're in. This goes into the numbers you're chasing. If your sales team minimum standard is 150,000 sold a month, that is still a standard. And anyone that's operating outside of that standard, even though it doesn't seem like a standard, it is. Like that's the minimum standard for sales.
That's a really good point.
And I would say 3. So the space, the environment, the metrics that you're tracking, there should be a minimum standard for that. And there is no tolerance there. It's have a conversation if we're off pace and figure out how to get back on pace. And that is the standard. And then on the other side, it's like the people as well. So I remember a specific example where we had a new hire coming into, and this kind of goes with environment, but it deals with people. Like how you treat people is also a standard and is very important within a culture. So example, we had an employee come in, a new employee, and someone was training them, and the person training them was very negative and standoffish and didn't want to give her any information and just flat out rude to the new employee. The new employee quit.
Yeah.
We had an entire company meeting about what is our standard for how we treat people and how we want people to feel that are coming into our environment. A vendor, someone delivering Uber Eats, and a new employee starting, a customer walking into the building, how do we want them to feel? That is our standard. Most people want people to be happy to be inside their business, but going back to culture, like you could build a culture where people feel yuck walking in, and you don't want that. And that is a standard. That's just another example where it's like, okay, we're addressing this immediately because it's not going to be tolerated. Basically, we're not tolerating that here because the standard is XYZ.
That's so good. That's so good. So, again, there's just something we wanted to roll through with you guys today because a lot of these podcasts are building on themselves with other things that are applicable, and this is huge. You have to be clear in the standards. They got to be in writing. You got to set agreements around what those things look like. You got to teach people how to operate around those specific. Unless you're just good with being pretty decent, then you should just have a whole lot of tolerance. But that doesn't exist, and I mean we're not going to work with a client that's got low standards and high tolerance at the beginning, maybe, so we can teach them how to do this. But like once it's installed, it's like, okay, if there's a lot of negotiation with it, nobody's going to win in that space. So it's crazy, and we'll just opt out.
I'm very passionate about this. I could talk about this for 3 hours.
I know. Maybe we'll do another podcast on it just in a different way. But you guys can send us questions if you have questions here. questions@thereadystatus.com. Please go, share, leave us reviews, all that good stuff. So until next week, we'll see you guys.
See ya.